The Lakers lose their third straight game in a row. Are they cooked for the season? Why the Lakers should consider cutting DeAndre Ayton, why LeBron James should do the right thing and move to the bench. What is going on with Austin Reeves? Is his stock falling? What does his summer look like? Will the Lakers bring him back? Will they look to trade him? We'll talk some Austin Reeves. Also, the Rams, what does their perfect draft look like? The combine is in full swing. Why an edge rusher, one of the best players in the draft, could fall to the Rams. Also, we're talking Dodgers. Roki Sasaki, the former top prospect in all of baseball. The velocity has been down. He's learning a new pitch. Does he deserve to be in the Dodgers rotation? And UCLA, USC, we're talking bubble. Will the Bruins get in? What's going on with the Trojans? And Lonzo Ball, is his career over? That's coming up next on the LA Sports Report.
LA is the sports capital of the world. The Lakers have entered their Luka Doncic era. LeBron doesn't just want a farewell tour, he wants a farewell title. The Rams are going to win the Super Bowl. Go, Kings, go. The Dodgers are the best run franchise in all of professional sports. Shohei Ohtani is the GOAT. Steve Ballmer will do anything to get the Clippers a championship. Mick Cronin has to win a national championship at UCLA. Justin Herbert is a top 5 quarterback in this league. College football is just better when USC is good. This whole city has the Mamba mentality. I love LA.
Live from the heart of Los Angeles, this is the LA Sports Report with your host, Doug McCain.
What is up, Los Angeles, and welcome to another episode of the LA Sports Report. My name is Doug McCain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. I've covered LA sports for over a decade. I'm loyal to the soil, and this is my new show covering all LA sports. So if you're new to the channel, if you know me about the Dodgers, if you know about the Rams, this is your spot for all LA sports, but we do talk a lot of Rams, a lot of Dodgers here. Different angle, different kind of takes, on the hotter, spicier side. So if you're rocking with us, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. And if you want to support every single episode, drop a like. We got BDR, Big Dog Rob, producing the show. We'll check in with him in a little bit. Drop your comments down below. We'll read them throughout the show. But let's get right into it. The purple and gold lose again. Another bad loss last night to the Phoenix Suns. The Lakers lose 113-110. How many worse losses of the seasons in a row could we have? I mean, how many times can we say this is the worst loss of the season? It felt like we were done with that. It felt like, okay, the Celtics are the worst loss of the season. And then it just keeps getting worse. You still get more losses stacking up, and you lose to a Phoenix Suns team. You blew a double-digit second-half lead to lose your third straight game. And when's it going to end? When's it going to end? Is it going to end to the Warriors? Do you lose to a Steph, Jimmy, Kristaps Porzingis, and a Draymond Green-less Warriors team on Saturday? Are you going to lose to a Kings team that's tanking, a Pelicans team that's tanking? When is the next worst loss in a row? Because this was a loss yesterday that really makes you question just the direction of the last 24 games of the season. And yes, tanking really isn't an option, even though the Lakers do own their first round pick. With 24 games left to go, even if you lost all 24, you're 10 games above 500, really wouldn't put yourself in an advantageous spot as far as getting a lottery pick. But still, I think there's a lot to evaluate from last night and for the remainder of this season. And yesterday, it was another Luka Doncic strong game, an MVP performance, if you want to call it that. 41 points in 39 minutes. For the Don, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals, just 3 turnovers, was 12 for 21 from the field, 6 for 11 from beyond the arc. A really solid shooting night for Luka Doncic. And he was the reason why the Lakers got back into the game, just because of how brilliant he was offensively. He had one of his 3-point shooting games that we haven't really seen with the Lakers, where it was efficient and he was confident in that shot. And it was just another breathtaking, brilliant performance from a guy who deserves to be surrounded with better pieces. And you also have to mention the defense from Luka Doncic. I mean, he lost Colin Gillespie multiple times for threes. Grayson Allen was hunting him in pick and rolls. Luka just struggled to stay in front of him. But that is why this year is so frustrating, because you know what? When you have a 40-point scorer that's giving you an efficient 40, he shouldn't be fighting through screens and be relied upon on the defensive end. But unfortunately, the Lakers just don't have that pieces behind him. They don't have those guys surrounding him that can allow him to cook and clean up things defensively. And Austin Reeves, 14 points last night, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. Similar to LeBron James, he's just basically watching on offense. And he did hit that big 3 to tie the game late, but he did miss that open look at the end of the game. It was less than a second, 0.9 on the clock. JJ Redick drew up a really nice ATO, and Austin Reeves had a good look, and he missed the 3. And my big takeaway from Austin Reeves right now, we're going to talk about Austin Reeves and his stock more in a minute, is just that these opportunities for him to step up and give the Lakers the production they need to be a team that you can maybe talk yourselves in to, hey, maybe they can win a series. Maybe they can make things interesting. Maybe they can be a dangerous team in the second round. But you're not going to do it if Austin Reeves produces like this. And Gillespie, a lot of these top, even just above average perimeter defenders, they have been they've made Austin Reeves look very pedestrian of late. And I think his stock has fallen. I do. And here was Austin Reeves after the game.
What's the frustration level? Just the way that you had control of this game, a couple of different occasions, they come back, all the threes that they hit, all the frustrating plays, and a third straight loss.
Very high. I think it's just next play mentality. You can't, think about the past mistakes you made. You got to move on and continue to compete at a high level. Control the controllables. It's just, there's just a handful of plays tonight. I feel like if we are better, I could swing a game. So all those, every possession matters. I know it sounds like a cliche because there's so many of them, but it can make swing the game in either direction throughout. The game, one little play, one little mistake can ignite a crowd, ignite a team, whatever it may be. So control those controllables.
So Austin Reeves is typically very cooperative with the media, even after losses. He'll give you a pretty good quote. Well, that was a very short answer. He's highly frustrated with the Lakers' play of late. But my biggest takeaway, I have a couple from last night, and we'll talk about LeBron James here in a second, what I think they should do with him. DeAndre Ayton, the big question heading into yesterday. The big question heading into yesterday was after that piece by Dave McMenamin where he had a quote from DeAndre Ayton where he was in the locker saying, I ain't Clint Capella. They're trying to make me Clint Capella. And it was revealed that the Lakers staff, they had this special juice, this crunk juice for DeAndre Ayton that could turn him into a beast. Well, I don't think they had filled that crunk juice. And it's probably his cranky juice because it was another cranky, bad performance from DeAndre Ayton. 2 points, 4 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 for 3, and he was minus 24. His plus minus was minus 24 in a game that the Lakers lost by 3 points. So the big question is, how would DeAndre Ayton respond to the criticism, the jokes, the people that are chronically online that were just dragging him all day? Even Clint Capella went to his Instagram and he posted, you got to lock in. Well, he was awful. He was terrible. He made countless defensive mistakes. He wasn't getting out on shooters early enough on screens. He had a flagrant foul and 6 points on a 6-point Suns possession. He literally gave up 7 points in one possession. And you know what made me laugh? You know what made me smile when I was watching the game yesterday. How did he get that one bucket? It was on a Clint Capella-like play where he's at the rim. So do more of that. And I think that what the Lakers should do, I don't care about the player option. I don't care about, hey, maybe he could be better for this team. The Lakers really should send a message to DeAndre Ayton and the rest of the players in the league if you want to play with Luka Doncic in this next era. They should do him like the Clippers did Chris Paul. Move on, cut him. Be gone with him. Go full-blown Jamal Adams and change the code to the Lakers facility. I mean, this is someone who has a nickname, Dominatin'. Dominatin'. More like abominating. More like debilitating. More like it's excruciating to watch you play. More like you're humiliating yourself and this Lakers franchise. A franchise that has the best big men in history who have worn that jersey. From George Mikan to Elgin to Will Chamberlain to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to Shaq to Pau to Anthony Davis. The history of great centers and the pedigree of great centers of this team, you would hope that, hey, he would have some pride. But DeAndre Ayton is who he is. He's a bust. He is a former number one pick that everywhere he went, it stunk. Well, turns out he's the one that stinks. And I think the Lakers, look, it was worth a try. It really was. It absolutely was worth it for that contract. But we know now he's a locker room cancer. He's absolutely toxic. I don't think that Lakers fans are going to hate the Laker as much as DeAndre Ayton since it was Russell Westbrook. I mean, that's kind of who he's kind of turning into. Just a Laker that you were hoping would be really good and elevate this roster, but he's doing the exact opposite. So it's unfortunate because in the summertime, it felt like this guy had a lot to prove, that he had a chip on his shoulder, that he had an edge. Turns out the dude's softer than Charmin. Just play the Kobe gif where he's talking to Dwight Howard saying soft, because that's what DeAndre Ayton is. For a first overall pick that had every opportunity to get his career back on track and set himself up to get a big bag, he sulks, he doesn't perform. And I think for a Lakers team that at this point, you're really just asking yourself, can we avoid the play-in? Can we make a first round series interesting? Can we get to the second round? What's the point of DeAndre Ayton? I mean, for me, I think you might as well start Jackson Hayes. He's dead weight on this team. He's an absolute vibe ruiner, and he's another Rob Pelinka special, giving a questionable player a player's option, and you need to get this dude out of the organization immediately. Like, the dude shouldn't even be allowed to wear Kobe's. Like, take his Kobe's away from his locker. Take the jersey away from him. Just disgusting to watch DeAndre Ayton put on that purple and gold. Next thing I want to talk about, though, on a more potentially positive note, I want to throw this out there. LeBron James, the Lakers universe, it feels like if you were to poll Lakers fans right now on how much they want to see LeBron James finish his career with the Lakers, I don't think it'd be that high. Most Lakers fans that you see online, I think that it's a classic multiple things can be true. I think that if you are a true Lakers fan that has been following this franchise for decades, even for the last decade, you would honestly have to say that LeBron James rescued this franchise from what was going to be complete irrelevance, an absolute dumpster fire with Jeannie Buss and Linda Rambis and Kurt Rambis and Magic Johnson and Luke Walton. The Lakers were going nowhere. LeBron James wanted to be a Laker, and he won them a championship. It was because of LeBron James that they got Anthony Davis for the most part, and they won a title. Now, you can appreciate what LeBron did for this franchise, while also understanding that right now, he's probably not the best guy to have on this roster with that contract, is based on where they're going. And a couple of the issues with LeBron James right now, first and foremost, the team just hasn't had success since he's been back. And yes, the Lakers really did have a soft schedule to start the year, and they capitalized on that. But I bring my facts to the fight, and the numbers will tell you that LeBron, since he's returned, has not turned this year into a success or even gotten it back to where it was early in the year. The Lakers pre-LeBron this year were 15-4. The Lakers after LeBron came back were 19-20. He's 29% from 3 on 4 attempts a game. I mean, look, Father of Time doesn't negotiate. And Father of Time is at the doorstep at King James Mansion. But here's the thing. And here's where I think LeBron can win over Lakers fans at the end of his career. He's not going to do this, but if he wanted to go out with pride, if he wanted to go out with Lakers fans supporting him and saluting him, and they'd give him his flowers, LeBron James would go to JJ Redick and say, I'm coming off the bench. I'm a sixth man. Because if the Lakers are serious about winning games down the stretch this year, 24 games left in the regular season, if they're serious about doing anything in the playoffs, even having a puncher's chance, the best version of the 2025-2026 Los Angeles Lakers has LeBron James coming off the bench as their sixth man. The Lakers starting 5 this year, when you had Austin Reeves, Marcus Smart, Luka Doncic, Rui Hachimura, and DeAndre Ayton, they were 10-4. LeBron came back, and yes, there has been some moments, but the bottom line is those guys just don't play well together, and the numbers back it up. When you have Luka and Austin Reeves on the same court together, it's a plus 4.6 net rating. When it's Reeves and LeBron on the court together, it's a minus 5.3 net rating. When it's Luke and LeBron, it's a minus 5.7 net rating. So the truth is, the best version of this team, when you look at it, Luka Doncic, he's an absolute plus offensively. He can do it all, can score from beyond the arc, he can facilitate, he can play make, he can get to the rim. He's an absolute dynamo as a scorer. Austin Reeves, a ball handler, a playmaker. He can score at all 3 levels, just like we saw with Kyrie, with Brunson. Maybe not to the level that those guys are capable of, but he has shown the ability to do that. Marcus Smart, 3-and-D type player, kind of like a Derrick Jones with the Mavericks. DeAndre Ayton, I just absolutely cooked him, but still he is a center that can try to at least get some buckets in the paint, kind of like we saw Dwight Powell do with the Mavericks. And then Jackson Hayes, he is a Wish.com poor man's Derek Lively. And LeBron James needs to be the sixth man if he doesn't fit any of those roles, because that's just the truth. I mean, it would just be an incredible final chapter to his NBA career, right? I mean, the truth is, Jordan should have been a sixth man. Kobe could have been a sixth man. I mean, I think if you were LeBron James, yes, this is a very flawed roster. Yes, DeAndre Ayton is an absolute problem, but just imagine this lineup. LeBron with Luke Kennard, Jake LaRavia, Jared Vanderbilt, and Jackson Hayes. That's the best group for LeBron. LeBron, Kennard, LaRavia, Vanderbilt, and Hayes. LeBron can go crazy and can score 20, 25, 30 points as a sixth man. He'll get those field goal attempts that he wants. He'll be able to play less minutes. You can reduce those minutes to keep him fresh and energetic, and he can still finish with the team. So I would pay. If there's any, the Lakers have some of the weakest media members I've ever seen for a major market. I don't mean that as an insult, but as far as like the Lakers kind of make them have to kind of toe the company line. And that's why you don't really see a lot of viral stuff coming out of Lakers media sessions, because they kind of ask all the kind of the cookie cutter questions. I mean, can you imagine if today, if you had the data that would suggest that LeBron is just better when you look at his overall production and net rating and things like that? LeBron is just a better NBA player at this stage of his career when he's not on the floor with Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves for long stretches. He is better as a primary ball handler, and he can only be that when they're off the court. He's not a catch-and-shoot type player. With Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves, he needs to be a catch-and-shoot type player, and that catch-and-shoot type player is not shooting well right now. I mean, LeBron James, like we said, shooting 29%. He's turned into LeBrick James at this stage of his career. And I think that arthritis, I think that sciatic, I think all those things are factoring in. But the bottom line, 29.9% from three on 4.6 attempts per game. That's the lowest three-point shooting percentage among all players averaging 4+ three-point attempts with a 40-game minimum. Statistically, LeBron is the worst three-point shooter in the NBA with a minimum of 4 attempts. And he's doing it on a team that needs him to do that in the role they have. So please, I will Venmo you $50. Any Lakers reporter out there that just wants to even do it as a joking thing. Like, do it as a joke and just see what JJ Redick has to say. Because you might piss off JJ and it'll give you a really good quote and it'll go viral and it'll give JJ the opportunity to go back to the podcaster and he'll defend LeBron James and all this stuff, which is cool. Like, you got to defend your guys. But just imagine if one reporter said, hey, the data suggests that this team would be a better team if LeBron was a sixth man. And just see what he has to say. He might laugh it off. Are you kidding me? LeBron James, he's the GOAT. A sixth man, are you crazy? It just tells you they're not serious about the season. It just tells you that they've punted this season because this is year 0 of the Luka Doncic era. Year 1 comes after the summer when they go through free agency and a draft with every player being evaluated towards Luka's skill set. So that makes you switch gears too to the Lakers small three. We'll stay on the Lakers small three because that's what they are. They're not a big three. They're really a small three when you look at the totality of their body of work. This season, here's another fact, another stat to chew on. This season, the NBA's worst offense is the Indiana Pacers. The Indiana Pacers have a 108.7 offensive rating. Just to give you an idea what that really means contextually, that's 12 points per 100 possessions, worse than the league's best offense, the Denver Nuggets. That's the worst, right? The Indiana Pacers, 108.7. Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, when they're on the floor, the Lakers offense, 106.7. That's 2 points worse than the Pacers. Think about how wild that is with that big three, the small three. So it just tells you that it's not ideal. It's not optimal. The best offensive rating is a team that the Denver Nuggets that can share the ball, that can facilitate the ball. So I think that really is kind of the big impetus for some potential change. I think it'd be really cool. I would really salute LeBron James. I think it'd be the coolest thing in the world. I think that the opinions towards him would change overnight. They really, really would. And I think that if this continues to go like this, LeBron James' final couple of months with the Lakers are going to go down as two of the most uneventful and forgettable months that any superstar athlete has had to finish their career with one team. So if I'm LeBron, I'm asking myself, hey, do I shake things up? Do I go to JJ and say, hey, give me the 6-man role. Let's make a run of this thing. Maybe there's a chance. Maybe if we get healthy, maybe the chemistry builds. The vibes here are clearly terrible. Did you guys see that picture yesterday of them on the bench? There are like 2 seats in between them. Everyone's looking in different directions. No one is on the same page. I mean, just look at this picture right here. We got LeBron, you got Luka sitting far apart. These guys look like they don't like each other. Like, these aren't your best coworkers are ones where after work, you're like, hey, let's go get a beer, man. Let's go get a beer. Let's watch the game. And then after that, you get back and then you text them like 15 minutes later. And then you see them the next day. It's like, they're your real friends. I guarantee you, none of these dudes are going and getting beers together after the game. Like, they are just straight up coworkers that tolerate each other, but that's that. Like, these dudes won't be at these dudes' weddings. Let's just put it like that. Like, it's very obvious here. They're counting down the days. And I get it. LeBron has this vibe like, hey, I'm the dude who's like graduated and I'm interning somewhere from college and I'm going back to the frat to try to relive the glory years type thing, right? Or he's kind of one of those guys that just feels like maybe you don't love me like you used to, right? He's Woody, Luka's Buzz Lightyear. But that could all change based on role. They can all change based on role, and I hope LeBron considers it. All right, switch gears to Austin Reeves. So we'll talk some Austin Reeves, and I've seen a lot of people say that Austin Reeves, his stock is really dropping, or Austin Reeves, he needs to reconsider just the attack plan. I think that guys like Austin Reeves, guys like JJ Redick, they are being impacted by the existence of LeBron and just kind of him sucking the oxygen out of the room. But the truth is, he has got a cap hold of $20.1 million this offseason. Even after that, the Lakers have $50+ million in cap space. The idea of not signing Austin Reeves just means you don't know ball. And I know that's kind of one of the nastiest, most negative things you could say about anyone that considers themselves a sports fan. But it's about managing assets. Look at how the Lakers mismanaged the asset of Julius Randle a couple years ago. It's not whether or not they're going to re-sign Austin Reeves because he said he wants to be a Laker. He clearly does. How much of a hometown discount will he give? Is he looking for $35 million or $30 million? I mean, that remains to be seen. But the bottom line is they're going to retain him. The question is, do you consider moving him after you do retain him? And I think that decision ultimately falls on Luka Doncic. How does he feel about the organization? How will Mark Walter's ownership of the Dodgers change the direction they go in? So I can tell you that Reeves is coming back, though. $51 million in cap space. Reeves got the 20.9 free agent hold on there. He's going to be fine. The guy that I want them to see, the number one guy I want to see as a free agent target, it's a restricted free agent target, is either Peyton Watson, Denver. Give him a really, really bold restricted free agent offer, or Terry Eason. I mean, those are two guys that you really could see as great fits alongside Luka Doncic, great fits and guys that can clean things up on the defensive end. So there's also, Derek Jones Jr., he's another target too. We'll see what's going on with the Clippers and their long-term direction. Andrew Wiggins is going to be an unrestricted free agent. We'll see. There's a lot of options that they're going to have, but they need a two-way guy. They absolutely need a two-way guy. My hope, of course, is Peyton Watson. You bring back the former Bruin, bring him back to LA. Only one time you've had a Lakers team that won a title without a UCLA guy on their roster. So we need those guys back in the fold. But we got some comments here. We got Adam Hurley, JJ destroyed Connect, and he's destroying everyone else. Wow, that's pretty bold. Look, bottom line, JJ Redick has to prove himself. I said yesterday, I think he's closer to being Luke Walton 2.0 than the next Pat Riley. I think that he's not a great coach. I don't get that sense yet, but I also think too that you can talk about these players individually. You can talk about the coaching. The biggest issue with this team is roster construction, and that ultimately falls on Rob Pelinka, but also it's just the fact that it takes more than one off season to build an NBA roster. This isn't baseball. If it was, they would have definitely overhauled this roster already, but there's aprons, there's salary cap implications. So really, it's just a flawed roster that doesn't work well together, and that really is the reason why they're the team they are, and the record reflects that. We have Mario. Lakers keep losing the close games. Well, the truth is they were one of the best clutch teams in the NBA for most of the season. Unfortunately, of late, that's where they've really struggled. Like I said, the Lakers, they're 15-17 in the last 32 games. We've got Claudia, D-Max extra spicy today. Really? Am I? I want the Lakers to be good. I want the Lakers to be relevant. And that's the worst thing you can have. The worst thing you can do in Los Angeles professional sports, and there's only a couple markets that this really applies to, is even if you're not going to win a championship, you have to give the illusion that you can win a championship. And right now, unless you're coping, unless it's just straight copium or you're just straight delusional, it's tough to say that this team could contend with the Denvers, the Thunders, the Spurs, those type of teams. And you look at the Rams. Rams could have won a Super Bowl. They lost to the eventual Super Bowl champions. Look at the Dodgers. Back-to-back World Series titles, right? I mean, the big three here, two of those teams are the ones that are either contending or winning titles. The Lakers, though, they're in a transitional mode. We got to Craig, Austin, Luka, and LeBron don't work well into the starting lineup. One should come off the bench. Yeah, and that one is LeBron James, because he could go back to being the kid from Akron. Because when he's playing with Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic, he's the mid from Akron, and it's not working. And someone's got to say it. Someone has to say it. Let's just look. Someone's got to say it, and it's the truth. We got Ruben. DeAndre Ayton will be teammates with Dwight Howard in Taiwan next season. Hey, that'd be a nice little Twin Towers right there. We've got Adam. Where's Clint Capella when you need him? I know. Give me current Clint Capella versus current DeAndre Ayton. I'm definitely here for that. I like that one. All right, so let's switch gears to. Yeah, okay. We'll go to the Luka cheating thing really quick. All right. I think that we need to back off of Luka Doncic. And this is a message to Lakers fans. Don't be weird. Don't be weird. Like, people are trying to suggest that Luka Doncic and his wife are having some issues and this and that. Stay off the Instagram Explore page for a second. Stay off of Luka Doncic, okay? And I will say that, I mean, if Luka Doncic is having any issues, imagine having any issues with your wife, and then you have to come to work to see DeAndre Ayton there. Like, that would be the worst thing humanly possible. So, look, I will just say this. The last thing, and I think this is actually pretty important. Lakers fans, I think, are as dedicated as any NBA fan base. There's no doubt about that. But let's be honest, man. We're toxic. We are as toxic and radioactive and nuclear as it gets. And the last thing that you want to portray to Luka Doncic is that you're just getting a little too personal, a little too much in his business. You're focusing on the wrong things, because at some point, for some players, LA becomes too big for them as far as, hey, like, it gets annoying. Like, either celebrities or superstars come here because they can exist as celebrities and superstars, or it just gets to a point where you just can't handle it. And the last thing I want Luka Doncic to do is kind of think, man, like, what is up with these Lakers fans? Man, what is up with this city? Man, maybe I will finish my career somewhere else. Like, we want Luka Doncic to go down as a Laker, to win multiple championships, to feel like he's our own. And I think that's part of the problem with the LeBron James experience, is he just became a Laker too late. But Luka Doncic is young enough to be able to claim him as our own. Luka Doncic is 26. Kareem came here from Milwaukee. We kind of claim him as our own. So LeBron James was in his 30s when he came here, had already won multiple championships, and will always kind of feel like a Cav or a Heat. And that Lakers uniform kind of almost felt like it was a prop in a movie. I think that's the thing about the Lakers uniform. Sometimes the player wears it, sometimes the uniform wears them. And that's how it always kind of felt with LeBron James. You almost can see that Heat uniform, that Cavs uniform underneath it. All right, switching gears. Okay. R. Carino is asking for it. D-Mac, Robin, Noel, may you please play the Rams music when we switch to the Rams. Say less. Say less. Just ram it. Such a banger. Such a banger. All right, so the NFL Combine is going on, the Underwear Olympics, as I like to call it, and the Rams have a very different philosophy when it comes to the NFL Combine. Les Snead, their general manager, doesn't go. Sean McVay, their head coach, does not go. But it did come out that the Rams were one of 15 teams to meet with Miami edge rusher Ruben Bain. And Ruben Bain, him and Caleb Downs, I think, are the two best defensive players. But Bain has that potential, has that fire, that intensity, that strength, that Miami pedigree to be the bane of NFL offenses' existences. And a couple things I love about this guy. Ruben Bain, did you see his hair? NFL Combine, everyone's going to the barber, getting the best fades, looking great. And what does Ruben Bain do? Ruben Bain looks like he just rolled out of bed. And he said, I don't care. Ruben Bain told the media, I've got no hobbies. I've got no interests. I eat, breathe, and sleep football. Sounds like a Ram. But the biggest takeaway from Ruben Bain was that he has 31-inch arms. And this is weird season where you'll get agents and analysts just harping on the wrong things. But 31-inch arms, that is on the lower side for an elite edge in the National Football League. And the Rams have the number 13 pick. And at 13, will Bain, even with shorter arms, fall to you when he's really projected to be a top 10 pick? Probably not. But you're close enough to where if you wanted him, you could make things interesting as far as do you trade up? And you could trade up. So the Rams looking right now is you've got Jared Verse, you've got Byron Young, you've got edge rushers that you trust, but I always look at the Bill Parcells model. Bill Parcells always, who's the best player available? Which of these guys do you actually think is going to turn out to be a star? And if Ruben Bain, because there's this kind of knock, it's like you go and you're going to buy a really nice car and you see a little scratch on it. So like, hey, can I get a little discount? Like, okay, cool. Like that's the scratch on him, is that he's got those arms right now. When you look at the Rams' ideal draft in the first 3 rounds, I think the way I have it laid out right now for the Rams is you got to address cornerback. You got to address some offensive line depth, even though they're probably going to give an extension to right tackle Warren McClendon Jr. And then the big question is, do you go out there and draft a quarterback? Do you go out there and maybe consider using a pick on Alabama quarterback Ty Simpson? Well, the way I look at it is right now, I've always been a big fan of Mekhi Lemon out of USC. Even though I'm a true Bruin, hey, we can look past that because he looks like he was built in a lab to be a Rams receiver. He's physical. You can use him in the slot, competitor, great hands, playmaker. Do they go Mekhi Lemon with that number 13 pick? Or do you go cornerback? Well, the dream draft scenario for me is I go Jermon McCoy, offensive tackle, Monroe Freeling. I think you go offensive tackle. I think you go cornerback Gerard McCoy, quarterback Ty Simpson, and then you could take 2 cornerbacks and trade in. If you want to go trade in Stukes, or you could get a Monster Delane if you use him as your first round pick. But it's really interesting to think what they're going to do offensively because they don't have a true wide receiver 3. Tutu Atwell, they gave $10 million to. They paid him $10 million to just really score 1 touchdown for $10 million. And I think personally, they're going to go all the way in. It's going to get back to the F them picks era. And F them picks wouldn't suggest going out there and getting a quarterback with draft capital. Now, I did see something pretty interesting from RG3. Robert Griffin III actually proposed that the Rams made a trade for Anthony Richardson, the quarterback from the Indianapolis Colts. And I saw Rams fans were like roasting this, like, Anthony Richardson, what are you talking about? Dude's a bust. And I will say, if you remember Anthony Richardson, there was a game a couple years ago where the Colts were playing the Texans and he subbed himself out of the game and they asked him why after the game and he said because he was tired. Like, that's a red flag. Like, that is a red flag as far as guys that are going to be your franchise quarterbacks. He literally said, "I'm out. I'm tired. Get me out of here." I mean, you could even hear him mouthing that. So that's not promising. But I will say this. The NFL is a copycat league. And years ago, the methodology, the league-wide strategy was, hey, we're going to draft our quarterback. And when we have that quarterback on a rookie contract, we can invest in the other important positions. Get him a wide receiver. Get him a running back. Invest in the offensive line. Get an edge rusher. Get a cornerback. And then once he's out of that rookie deal, then you got to pay him. But the hope is that he's just really good, like a Josh Allen, like a Patrick Mahomes, like a Lamar Jackson, like a Joe Burrow, guys like that, that you can continue to win because you can draft other pieces and develop around them. Well, look what we saw last year. Look what we saw last season with Sam Darnold winning the Super Bowl with the Seahawks. Dude was passed around. Dude went from the Jets to being a backup with the 49ers behind Brock Purdy, was with the Vikings, then ends up with the Seahawks, and they win the Super Bowl. Look at Daniel Jones, speaking of the Colts. Danny Dimes. He was like Danny Pennies, and then he went back to Danny Dimes for a little bit there before he got hurt. The strategy moving forward, I think in the NFL, is teams are going to trust their offensive coordinators, their head coaches, their culture, and their philosophy, and they're going to bet on that, and they're going to say, hey, Jets are trash. Teams don't understand what they have, and they're going to say, one team's trash is our treasure. And I think that could be the movement in the NFL. And if that's the case, there are some pros with Anthony Richardson that I think are very intriguing. First and foremost, when I look at prospects, when I look at players, first thing I ask myself is, what are the things that they have that you can't teach? And the answer to that question with Anthony Richardson is he's 6'4", can't teach size. He's muscle everywhere, 244 pounds, and also speed for a quarterback. He ran a 4.43 in the 40 as a quarterback. That is a very unique combination of size, speed, explosiveness, and he's also showed in that limited playing time that he can be a special athlete, that he can be a plus runner, even though he wants to be with his arm first. He rushed for 634 yards and 10 touchdowns in 15 starts. That is a pretty nice sample size of a quarterback that can get yards on the ground. And for a coach like Sean McVay, who has hinted, and I can tell you this, he has hinted to Les Snead, and Les Snead has made it pretty clear that Matthew Stafford's successor, they want him to be mobile. They've even said themselves that it could be a potential cheat code to have a quarterback that can run the football. So he has the ability to do that. Next pro, arm strength is not a concern. You look at guys like Tua Tagovailoa with his little water gun super soaker, right? And you look at guys like Matthew Stafford with the Glock 9, right? Like, arm strength is arm strength. And he's got that in spades. Yes, accuracy has been an issue, but he's got a very strong arm. In fact, he was stamped by Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford, after the Rams played the Colts a couple years ago, he said, holy ish. He's as talented as they come, man. That is really impressive. Made some throws in the pocket and outside the pocket. Runs grade 2. The sky's the limit, and I'm just happy for his success. Well, Matt, if you want to be a part of his future success, if the Rams were to get him, you could take him under your wing and teach him a couple things. Another thing, too. How about this? Another pro, 23 years old. He's 23. That's it. He's just a year older than Fernando Mendoza. I mean, he's been in the NFL for 3 years. He was a very young player coming up. He's still one of the youngest quarterbacks in the National Football League. So naturally, he's going to grow and get better. And if he does turn into a starter, who knows? Who knows what he could accomplish in this league? Now, the cons are he hasn't had success even when he's been healthy. He completed just 47.7% of his passes in 2024, 59.5% of his passes as a rookie, had 13 picks to just 11 touchdowns. But still, I mean, look at early Peyton Manning. I mean, there's so many examples of young quarterbacks, first couple of years, you're still figuring things out. I'll never forget we had Donovan McNabb, and I asked him, it's like, Donovan, Caleb Williams is going from college to the pros. How can you describe what that's like as a player? Because Donovan McNabb was one of the best players at Syracuse, and he'll go on to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league with the Eagles. And he said that the jump from college to the pros is like going from riding go-karts to racing in the Indy 500. Okay? So, of course, naturally, young quarterbacks are going to need to experience some failure. They're going to need opportunities to grow. And really, the only major con I could see would be that the fact is Anthony Richardson's a former first-round pick. He was the third pick in the 2023 draft. I think it was a fourth pick. I'm going off the top of my head, but so the third or fourth pick. Check that at some point in the 2023 draft. And he's going to be expensive at some point if you want to invest in him. So you're going to have to decide on his fifth-year option. You have to decide that by early May. So if a team does trade for him or the Colts keep him, I mean, there's going to be some decisions to make there. So you are going to, it's not like he's going to be free. It's not like he's going to be free. So you're going to have to say, oh, he has the potential to be that guy. So, hey, look, I'm just saying it's intriguing. I just say I like the thought exercise of the idea because you're going to have to replace Matthew Stafford at some point, and you're going to be in a better position to do that if you're bringing a guy that can sit behind Matthew Stafford and learn an offense and learn to be with Sean McVay. So that's kind of the impetus there. By the way, he was the fourth pick in the 2023 NFL draft. Anthony. Oh, there we go. Mm-hmm. I love it. All right, here we go. We got some more comments here. We got Claudia. NFL isn't the same anymore. 10 years ago, it was the best sport, in my opinion. Now it's the MLB. I love them all. I watch all the buy-ins. It's a tough question for me, but I think the NFL's in a good spot. I think Major League Baseball's in a good spot. I think the NBA is the one where you kind of question their product right now, if we're being completely honest. With all the blowouts, with a lot of teams being irrelevant. I mean, did you see the NBA? The NBA sent their own team doctors to the Jazz to look at Lauri Markkanen's injury because of the tanking. I mean, that's pretty sketch, if you ask me. We got oh, come on, man. What is this? Clean? This guy's screen name is Clean Yo Ass. Doug, I don't really follow the Lakers. What has been LeBron's tenure in LA in MLB terms? It's a really good question. I think a couple years ago I said this, and I kind of got into it with some Dodgers fans in the comments because they didn't like this comparison. But I said Freddie Freeman, and the reason why I said Freddie Freeman was because Freddie came to LA as an established all-star, future Hall of Famer in his 30s, and he delivered a championship, helped the Dodgers win not just one, but multiple championships, and that is what LeBron James did. And both of those players still had prime left in their careers. Both those guys had prime left in their careers when they came here. So they signed here. They contributed to a championship. The only difference is Freddie is beloved universally in Los Angeles. I don't think you can say the same about LeBron James. I think, too, the other thing as well is if you are LeBron, you're considered to be like a top 2 player of all time. And some will say 1, some will argue less than that. But Freddie is a guy who's a great player, but you're not going to say he's like the greatest or in the conversation for the greatest players of all time. But all right, switching gears, a good chance to jump off to some Dodgers questions here. And let's get into that. So let's talk some Roki Sasaki, because I think if you're looking for the juiciest headline, the juiciest storyline really in all of spring training right now, look, Hae-Sung Kim hit another home run and had another hit and had another great day. He's off to the WBC. I said it yesterday on Dodgers Dugout Live that I felt like his chances of being the Dodgers opening day second baseman, we're at 99%. Might as well call that election style right now. I'm going to call it election style right now on this show. Ha-Seong Kim will be the Dodgers opening day second baseman. There you go. I said it. It's going to happen. His dream is going to come true. But outside of that, what are the battles? What are the subplots? Well, I think the number one now really is Roki Sasaki and the development of Roki Sasaki. He had a shaky debut a couple days ago. He gave up 3 runs in an inning and a third innings of work. I will say, though, that just kind of talking to people in the days since, essentially what they told him was, don't worry about the numbers. Don't worry about the results. Just focus on trying to develop that third pitch. And with Roki, he's going to have to develop that third pitch if he wants any chance of becoming a legitimate starter in this league. And not only has he added a third pitch, he's really added a fourth pitch because he's added a cutter, he's added a sinker. The arsenal has expanded. And then also he's dialed back the velocity. So my number one biggest concern with Roki Sasaki now is this. The firepower is just not there. Go back and watch his highlights when he was throwing for the Chiba Lotte Marines, when he was pumping 101 and 102. That is what made him the biggest talk in baseball last offseason, where it was about who's going to get Roki Sasaki, the Roki Sasaki sweepstakes. If Roki was pitching like he is now in Japan, like the Dodgers would have gotten him and it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. It would have been a big-ish deal, but it wouldn't have been, oh no, the Dodgers got Roki, they're ruining baseball. It wouldn't have been that. I mean, what I said about Roki was you're getting a Lamborghini at the price of a Nissan Altima because he's on a minor league contract. Well, right now, that contract is not looking like, wow, it's this major coup, right? It's not that. I mean, you look at the kind of the advanced stuff on the new cutter and the new pitches. It's going to take some time. It really is going to take some time. A couple days ago when he made his first start this spring training, when you look at some of the advanced numbers on it, some of the big issues with Roki are it's kind of a flat fastball. He averaged on the heater, he averaged 97.1 miles per hour on the four-seamer. He threw 12 four-seamers, threw it 44.4% of the time. The spin wasn't great. From a stuff plus standpoint, it was a below average fastball. He got 0 swings and misses on the fastball. And if that fastball is not going to be electric, then he has to rely on new pitches. Like how terrifying is that if you're Roki Sasaki, that what made him great, he's not great at anymore. And now on the fly, he has to worry about a third or fourth pitch. I mean, this is like the biggest story that no one's talking about right now is like, what the heck is going on with Roki? And I hate to say this because I always treat this like you never want to say Voldemort, right? Like you don't want to say this kind of stuff, but I do feel like he's not physically 100%. And I think he's trying to will and play through some physical issues that who knows, maybe they're going to require surgery at some point. And maybe that shoulder just won't allow him to get fully healthy. Maybe there is some issues with the rotator cuff or capsule or whatever's going on in there because he's so young to have a velocity dip like that. He's so young to have a velocity dip like that. He's 24. So why has his velocity dropped 4 miles per hour? And here's the thing too. Last year during the postseason, they looked at his hips and they made some corrections to his mechanics that allowed him to start throwing 99 again. But the reason why he was throwing 99 was because he knew he was only going to pitch for 1 or 2 innings. He did go those 3 innings in game 4 of the NLDS against the Phillies. But the reason why he was pumping 99 was because he was like, I can empty the tank for 1 inning. So you mean to tell me this, that Roki Sasaki's empty the tank inning is 99? His empty the tank inning should be like 120, right? Like it should be at least 100 or 102. So there has been a velocity dip. I can't prove this, that's physical or injury related, but it just does feel like There's got to be something there because for him to be special, for him to be the Rookie of the Year, for him to win a Cy Young, he has to have explosive velocity. And right now, even though it's above average velocity, it's not explosive and he's not getting swing and miss. There's not a lot of horizontal break. And I'll be honest with you, I'm concerned. Like my concern level for Roki Sasaki is on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd put like at a 6.5. And the concern that he's not going to be elite. If we're just talking about being an average pitcher, sure, learn the cutter, get some outs, be a 5 or 6 man rotation level starter, then fine. But this is a guy who has designs and ambitions of being the best pitcher in baseball. All right, so let's end the show here. Talk some USC, UCLA. So UCLA beat USC the other night, all but ending USC's hopes of a NCAA tournament bid. Well, I guess they won't have the chance to make the Elite Eight again and make rings for being in the Elite Eight, which is hilarious. Only hang banners in Westwood. But I will say the thing about UCLA in the bubble status, they have gone up. They have been projected by Joe Lunardi as becoming a likely team. They've bumped up to the likely status. The Bruins 19-9. Their quad 1 record is 3-7. And now that kind of the dust is set a little bit with Mick Cronin and his antics, and I can touch on that too in a second here. After getting boat raced by Michigan. By the way, that was really sad. I remember I was at we were at spring training. I was chilling with my man Noel, and I was like, man, UCLA's down by 2 points at halftime. It was 40-38. And it was kind of one of those things where you guys do the thing where you can't watch the game live, but it's like just as exciting to kind of just get the score updates on the app. Like to me, it's like almost like I bet like $1,000 on the game. Like I'm like cracked out on that stuff, right? For this case though, I was like, I'm not going to torture myself. I checked at halftime once. They were up by 2, right? I was like, I'm not going to torture myself. I'm going to let this thing play out in hopes that, you know what? They get a big win. They beat Michigan. It was 40-38 at halftime. Then after a couple of interviews with some Dodgers players and being roasted and cooked in that Arizona sun, I'm like, yo, the UCLA game, let's check. Maybe they won. I pull up my phone. The final score, 86-56. Come on now. It was pretty brutal. But the good news is they did come back. They beat Illinois. You had a Tyus Edney-like layup there at the end by Donovan Dent. They beat them 95-94 in overtime, and then they beat USC 81-62. So you get a couple of those quad 2 wins, quad 1 wins, and now UCLA's there 3 games remaining. They're all going to be quad 1. You got at Minnesota, then Nebraska, and then at USC. So unless they go 0-3, they're going to be dancing. They're going to punch their ticket to the dance. They're going to be in the NCAA tournament, and who knows? Who knows what happens if they can find the magic like Mick Cronin found when they went from the first 4 to the final 4 in 2021. That'd be awesome. Either way, it feels like he is kind of coaching. I wouldn't say he's coaching for his job, but I do think that he's coaching to really avoid that hot seat, just absolutely getting super, super hot. Now, USC, their tournament projection right now, NCAA tournament projections mainly have them as they got 3 games remaining. And you also got the Big Ten tournament, right? You get the automatic big if you win the Big Ten tourney, but they can make a late push. You got number 12 Nebraska too. You got UCLA at home, and you're going to face the Washington Huskies on the road. So USC could still earn a tournament spot. They got to win their final 3 games and win some games in the Big Ten tournament to try and go out there and punch their ticket. You just can't lose again to UCLA or Washington, really. 2 teams that have already beaten them. The Big Ten tournament, all bets are off if the team gets hot, but we'll see. USC and the Bruins. Bruins are in, USC out right now, and right now they're in that kind of first 4 out level. And you got USC, Ohio State, Cal, and San Diego State out. By the way, the only thing at this point, I don't think UCLA can win the title as long as Arizona doesn't win. Like, I'm a happy camper. By the way, Lonzo Ball, speaking of UCLA, we'll end the show on this one. Lonzo Ball. This is per Brett Siegel from Noel Sanchez. So a double credit here because he sent this to me. Brett Siegel, NBA from Noel Sanchez to me, per me. So triple sourcing here, I guess. No, of course I'm kidding. He writes, there are concerns among many league personnel that the former second overall pick may not play again over concerns with his medical records. Nothing is imminent on his front, and Ball will continue to work on strengthening his game and health as he waits for another opportunity. Should he remain unsigned through the remainder of this season and want to continue his playing career, Lonzo may be forced to do so overseas. So really, it's a sad story. It really is. I remember when I was covering UCLA for 24/7 Sports a long time ago, and this guy used to work with Neil Nieves, who was one of the top AAU guys, who actually, when I was covering them, it was even before they got Lonzo, and he was telling me about the Balls and Lonzo, and I remember it was that Zach LaVine team, and at the time, they were telling them, Neil Nieves told me, they were telling them, stop playing basketball all day, every day. Like, just stop. Like you got to take a break. And what they would call it was, they would call it AAU knees. And the AAU tournaments, you're playing all day, every day. And then you go to LA Fitness and you keep playing. And then you go to the backyard and they keep playing. I mean, think about this. If you ever watch Ball in the Family, they're playing basketball everywhere. They're playing at their house on concrete in slides. They're playing at LA Fitness. They're playing at 24 Fitness. They're playing in gyms. Like the Ball family, they love to ball. Like appropriate last name because they love to do it. And unfortunately, I think that plus genetics, plus wear and tear, it's unfortunately robbed Lonzo Ball of a potential career. And I will never call Lonzo a bust because we saw in those bright spots when he really started to turn his career around with the New Orleans Pelicans and he got a nice contract with the Chicago Bulls, he ended up being a guy that was a 40+% or more shooter from beyond the arc, could always play make, and then he turned out to be a really good defender too. I still will think that, man, like he could have helped teams in this league had he been healthy. It is to a way lesser degree what Brandon Roy dealt with, where he had a degenerative knee. I would say take my knees, but your boy's cooked also. So Lonzo Ball kind of is going to go down as, I wouldn't say a bust, I would say is a big what if. Like he's going to go down as the guy that, hey, maybe he wasn't going to be an MVP or multi-time All-Star. Like he wasn't going to be better than Jason Tatum, who the Lakers could have taken, but would have ultimately still had to have traded in the Anthony Davis deal. But he could have still had a lot better of a career than he had. The good thing is the podcast is pretty lit. I mean, the good thing is, I don't know, that the dancing was weird in the compression shorts. Noel, how many times did you watch that video of him dancing in his compression shorts? Be honest. Just truth serum, like lie detector test level. Like it's 5 over under 5. Okay, that's fair. I will say I watched the Lonzo dancing in the compression shorts 3 times. It's a decent 3. You know, BDR, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, nah. I'm just trying to figure out which one's like zestier, like the Lonzo in the shorts or LaMelo with the homie.
Oh, that's the zestiest of all zesty. That's the zestiest of all zesty. No doubt about it. Yeah. My only thing with LaMelo is do not get traded to the Clippers. I mean, just don't. There's enough crazy drivers here.
Yeah, we can afford the car insurance in Cali.
There you go. All right, scale 1 to 10. What do you give Jello as a rapper, BDR?
He's lit. I mean, you know, swerve on that corner. Whoa.
I might swerve in the corner. Whoa. If he was listening to that during that accident, then that would just be chef's kiss, right? But that's going to do it for this episode of the LA Sports Report. Thanks for rocking with us as always. If you haven't yet, do us a huge favor. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit that like button. If you're new to the show, tons of giveaways. This is the show for the LA fan that just wants the truth about all the teams in LA. We are keeping it 100 on this show. I should have said 100, right? But I said 100, right? We're keeping it 100 on this show all season long. And join us a little later for Dodgers Dugout Live coming up in less than an hour. So join us over there. We'll talk Dodger baseball That's coming up next. And yeah, until next time, remember, a lot of great cities out there, but LA is the city of champions.